Shortly after Spyro the Dragon started flying off the shelves, with Christmas of 1998 being an outlet for Insomniac's success, they decided to make a sequel. You wouldn't have thought that, huh? Well, Insomniac had no idea that they hit a goldmine when they released Spyro the Dragon, making it a platinum release the next year. Also the version I own, strangely enough. And then the next year of Christmas 1999, wouldn't you believe it, they made Spyro 2 Gateway to Glimmer. My favourite game of all time. I'll put that in bold writing, by the way. My favourite game of all time.
Happy holidays, fat boy!
As I gushed over in the first video, and by that I mean Spyro 1 review, which you can check out here if you haven't already. So first things first, let's get it in. Bish bash bosh, let's get it in. Once upon a while ago, Spyro the Dragon and Sparks the Dragonfly, our two protagonists from the previous game, are running around trying to see if they can get away from the rain, and you know what, I can honestly relate, it's raining like shit over here. And all of a sudden, a portal for Dragon Shores comes around. However, on the other side of the realms lies Avalar, and 3 inhabitants are trying to summon a dragon to deal with a little problem. These 3 inhabitants being Hunter the Cheetah, Allura the Fawn, and Professor the... Bear? Koala? Mole? I think he's a mole. Yeah, I think he's a mole. So anyway, that same dragon happens to be Spyro, and he gets summoned over from Dragon Shores to Avalar. And convenience be happening? Yeah, it be happening alright. Ripto comes along, the new villain of this game, along with his 2 henchmen Crush and Gulp. He starts acting all intimidating, saying, "I hope you die a horrible death!" And Spyro's like, okay. And then Gulp shows up Ripto by eating his scepter, making them run away. Allura then explains that she'll explain later when he's in the Avalar homeworld rather than one of the levels, leaving us to start the adventure. Anyway, just need to wait for this loading screen and... oh, I thought Spyro 1 looked impressive for the PlayStation 1, but this game just happened to look even better. So in traditional Spyro fashion, you have all your moves back, plus more. There's also new NPCs to come across too, which are quite varied. If it's one thing I hate in games, then it's always the same NPCs coming up over and over again. However, this game has one-off NPCs, unless we're talking about Zephyr and that one other level I can't remember the name of. And as I said before, Spyro mainly controls the same, the gems are still here, different containers are there for you to open, and at the end of every level you'll receive a talisman. These are pretty important until the final world where they're not really needed at all. Other collectibles are the orbs. So much like Banjo-Kazooie with its jiggies, Spyro must go on doing different quests in order to obtain these orbs. Even in the first level they introduce you to these challenges. Like for example, you can shoot up lizards for some reason. Okay. You can go through a gate and actually fly in a Spyro game like you did in the last level of Spyro 1. Oh yeah, that pretty much spoils the whole entire point of me not spoiling the final level. Ah, come on, it's a game from 1998, go play it. Supercharge returns from the previous game. Oh god, then it's even better. Super flame ability, head bashing monsters, or in this case rocks because I forgot to get footage. Oh yeah, get this, Spyro can swim. Yeah, remember all the frustrating parts of you and Spyro 1 falling into water and then slowly sinking into it because it looked like paste. That looks horrible. Anyway, nah. Anyway, you can actually swim underwater free of care. And let me tell you, it is the best swimming controls in any game I have ever controlled in my life. There's also ice physics in a Spyro game. Yeah, I didn't think you were expecting that, seeing as the icy caves never had any. Other types of missions consist of speedways, which are extremely fun in this game. If you thought they were good in Spyro 1, and let me tell you, I didn't enjoy them. In Spyro 2, they're way more fun. You find a secret area within the speedway levels, you can actually go on a secret challenge to obtain another orb, which I find to be very intuitive. Like, this is extremely creative. Other moves to Spyro's moveset are the little hover ability that he has. It's not really anything special, but it's really helpful in those really hard to reach moments. Like for example, if you glided somewhere in the first game and just fell to your death because you were just that little bit, tiny bit away. Oh, yeah, you can say goodbye to that because Spyro 2 has you covered. And in this game, Spyro also has the ability to put things in his mouth and spit them back out again. Now, I don't really get the physics system in this game, but some of the objects that Spyro puts in his mouth are a lot more bigger than his head. I mean, this becomes very apparent when you go to Hurrico's one mission where you have to get the electrodes and put them in the certain slots. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. But then again, do I really want to question a game about a purple dragon? I don't think I do. So what are those gameplay styles that I talked about earlier with Moneybags? Well, Spyro can climb, he can headbash, and he can swim. All of this could be yours for a small fee. I'm sick to death of hearing that one. So once you've gathered enough talismans and orbs, you can actually open boss gates, like I said earlier. And the first one up is Gulp. He's relatively easy. I mean, yeah, he gave me some trouble back in the day, but nowadays I can beat him to a pulp. It's no big deal. Then we have Gulp, who still gives me some trouble. And then we have Ripto, who is probably one of the best final bosses ever. I am not kidding when I say this. Ripto is challenging, intimidating, plus more. Remember all those orbs you collected? Yeah. Now you need to use them to power up Spyro. But the thing is, Ripto can also use these abilities to hone his abilities to be more stronger too. I'm not quite sure how to explain it, but if you've ever collected all the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic the Hedgehog game, it feels a lot like that. And when you finally beat him, he incinerates into melting flesh. Actually, I want to take a minute to talk about that, to be honest. People said that Ripto died at the end of Spyro 2, but to be honest, he also fell off the side of a cliff beforehand in the Gulp boss fight. It really doesn't surprise me that he came back from the dead or managed to fake his death. I mean, after all, he does go behind the tower before you fight the bird boss fight. Okay, let's just say he faked his death. He somehow managed to make a copy of himself, multiplied himself, came back and entered the dragonfly, and yeah, problem solved. And then comes the finale of the game. Well, after everything's been done, Spyro can now go to Dragon Shores and take a rest. Well, okay, at least not in my game. I have to collect a few more orbs, but screw that, I'm not recording any more footage. Now, personally, I could sit down on any night and I could beat Spyro within one sitting. It's that good of a game to me. There's never a dull moment when I play Spyro 2, and I'm still finding enjoyment in every single last detail every time I play it. So if gameplay aside, all I can say is just masterful. As I said in the last review, Spyro actually changed voice actors now.
Like, we should go on vacation. Somewhere warm. Somewhere sunny.
Yeah. He's now voiced by Tom Kenny himself, voice of SpongeBob SquarePants. Not only is Tom Kenny along for the show, but a couple of other voice actors are here too. Oh yeah, one thing to note is that Spyro actually has its first female character that actually does have a voice this time around. Melissa Disney voices Allura in this game, and let this sink in because I know I needed a couple of seconds to let this sink in as well. She also voiced Courtney Gears on Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal and Gladiator.
Is it working, Professor? Yeah, what's up, people? It's Courtney Gears. Are you feeling me, robots?
I had no idea. We also have Ripto, who's voiced by the same voice actor as Hunter, by the way, Greg. I can't remember his last name.
Trying to keep something from me? But they have claws like this, teeth like this, and they spit fire like this. Puh, puh.
Moneybags in this game was voiced by Milton James, and I have to admit he's probably the only Moneybags I like, to be honest. Well, love to hate if you know what I mean. I also like the guy that did the one in Spyro 3 and Spyro 4, but to be completely honest, you can't beat Spyro 2. Also, one of my favourite side characters of the Spyro universe actually gets a voice this time around. Zoe the Fairy. And that's pretty much all the voice actors I can find. Other than that, the voice actors do their great jobs at what they do, and to be honest, their talent definitely doesn't go to waste in Spyro 2, let's say it that way. Even some of the side NPCs are really good when you get to talk to them. Going on to the soundtrack now, it's as good as it ever was, to be honest. There's something about Spyro 2 that's a lot more faster than the previous games' soundtrack. The sound effect jingles in this game are really damn nostalgic to me, I have to admit. You have the same sound effects from the first game, but I swear I heard a Crash Bandicoot 3 sound effect in this game at one point in time. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if I actually did hear one of the sound effects from Crash Bandicoot 3. Going on to the graphics now, I have to admit one thing. Oh god. They definitely took their time in designing the graphics to be as good as they most possibly could be for the PlayStation 1. Whenever Spyro wants to look bright and colourful, it'll look bright and colourful, just like it did in the first game. If it wants to look dark and gritty, then it'll look dark and gritty, just like in the first game. However, some textures in the walls look way more detailed than what they did in the first game. As you can see, Spyro 2 is a lot more closed in, not by a lot, as it is still kind of open. It's more linear than what Spyro 1 was. And if I'm honest, I kind of prefer Spyro like that. It just tends to go for more of a linear style. Anyways, if it was one thing I would have to criticise Spyro 2 for, it's some of the character textures with the eyes with character models like Allura and the Fawns. They look really weird. I mean, I know it's the PlayStation 1, don't get me wrong, but it just looks like they're plastered on when you play in HD or even the original. So with everything talked about, that begs the final question. Was Spyro 2 a good game? Spyro 2 Gateway to Glimmer is one of the best video games ever created in the history of gaming. I am not kidding. If there was one reason that you should play Spyro, then this game is that. It has everything to keep you hooked for hours. I mean, I occasionally pop this on my PlayStation 1 to go around and just basically play it just so I can beat Ripto at the end again. Like seriously, it's that fun. Heck, if I get new games, I'll stop that immediately and go and play Spyro 2 no matter what the weather, what the day, what the time. Okay, that last one's a bit questionable, but you get what I mean. Spyro 2 Gateway to Glimmer is a timeless classic, and no Spyro game, or video game for that matter, has ever came close to replacing it. Does that mean to say that the other Spyro games aren't worth your time either? Pfft, whoever told you that seriously needs to jump out of a window, because honestly, every last Spyro game serves one purpose or another. Even the lesser great games like Enter the Dragonfly or Eternal Night, maybe even Shadow Legacy. Pardon my gushing over this game, but I'm pretty sure you know how I feel about it. Hell, I'm willing to bet that you guys also have a similar feeling for a video game that I do with Spyro 2. No matter what that game is, whether people don't like that game or not, it's all about what you think. And with Spyro 2, I couldn't care if somebody said they hate this game and it was the worst game that's ever been made ever. I would still love this game. But anyway folks, thanks for watching, and that was my review of Spyro 2 Gateway to Glimmer. Stay tuned for the third review, as I'll review my least favourite in the Spyro trilogy. With a special guest. Oh, my apologies people, I forgot to review the grass of Spyro, as well as the stones. I have to admit, they're nice. The grass, they're very polygonal for the PS1, but you know, they're nice. Stones are also very polygonal for the PS1, but they're nice. I like the AI of the grass, like the blades of grass, the way it looks very environmental, and it looks very, what do you call it? It looks very organic for the PS1, very organic for Spyro 2. I would definitely say 10 out of 10. Very nice grass though, very nice grass. The stones on the other hand, they're a bit too polygonal for my case to look like stones. But well, okay, that's how they're supposed to look. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy. Was it? Hold on. I hope you enjoyed my review of Spyro, the grass and the stones. Join me next time when I'm gonna review the skyboxes. I'll also be reviewing the files of the game. Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna go into the files of the game. Open up the PC, go into the files of the game, and I will also review the credits screen of the first game as well, so be sure to come back for that. Goodbye.